Hey guys, so if you are new, my name is Mackenzie Jump and I do, for the most part, TTC videos here on YouTube. And if you are a subscriber, thank you guys. And first off, apologies that it's been so long. Also, I'm going to try to keep my camera super still, but I cannot find my tripod thing that I use all the time. Also, wet hair, just got out of the shower. And I'm in my guest bedroom because the lighting is coming in right through the window, and that's just what I'm doing. So, I need a, let me get still here. There we go. I have had quite a few people message me on Instagram and just asking for updates on my journey to conceiving. And to be honest, I don't think this is the reason why I haven't posted, and I don't know that there really is a true reason why it's been a while since I posted a TTC update video, but there really just hasn't been a lot to update. As a lot of you guys know, if you have been following my journey and you are right there along with me in your own, I have PCOS and very irregular cycles, and I don't ovulate on my own for the majority of the time, 99.9% of the time. And I usually have to have a medicated cycle, one medicated to induce my period and two medicated to help my body to ovulate. And I have just had some roadblocks in the way since December, actually, which is weird to think about. So it's been almost 6 months now that I've been unmedicated cycles, and it's been very frustrating at times. I talked with a girl on Instagram who is basically in the same boat as me. She had messaged me and reached out and just said, hey, how's it going? Like, I'm impatient, and with all the quarantine stuff and stay-at-home orders, my doctor's not seeing patients like me this time or right now. And by that I mean like infertility patients. So once everything kind of started happening with COVID-19, my doctor's office was not seeing infertility patients for infertility treatments. So everything just kind of got put on hold, which it had been for me already for a couple of months. So that was kind of heartbreaking because that was really the first month that everything was normal and we could do a medicated cycle, and then that happened and I couldn't go in. So let me just bring you guys up to speed. I'll tell you my experiences. One very great thing that's came out of this period, like, just lack of doing anything time frame, is my cycles have become kind of sort of regular these last 2 cycles, which is so weird. I don't even believe myself when I'm saying it because I feel like I'm going to jinx myself. But as for right now, things are way more normal. And honestly, I don't know if it has anything to do with me basically having to be put on a break from medication, or if it's just timing, or I have no idea, but they're much more normal. So before, I had went a little over or right at 200-day cycle, and I just would never start on my own. Unless I had taken Provera to induce a cycle, I would be waiting forever. So that's usually how I got my cycle, is by taking Provera. Well, I'll kind of go back to give you some history. December of 2019, I was unable to do my normal routine, which is Provera to induce my cycle, and then Clomid days 3 through 7. Yeah, 3 through 7. And along with that, on day 3, before I would start Clomid, I would go in for a baseline ultrasound or a follicle scan. And what that does is they just make sure that you actually shed your lining during your period, that you don't have any leftover follicles from last cycle, and just to make sure everything looks good, because they don't want to prescribe ovulation medication if your body's not ready for it. So I would go in on day 3. If everything looked good, they would prescribe me Clomid, and then I'd go back in on day 12 so they can kind of follow up. They called it a follow-up follicle scan. So they could follow up to see if my eggs were growing. And that would kind of help us determine if they were growing at the right pace, if my body was responding to the Clomid dosage that I had gotten. So that was my normal routine. Okay, Provera for 10 days, start my period about 7 days after that. Go in on day 3 for a baseline, start Clomid if it works. or if my baseline looked good. Go back in on day 12, follicle scan, see how many follicles I had, if they were growing, if I had dominant follicles, and then we would kind of base ovulation off of that. I had before gone in another time after day 12 to see how big they were getting, and that's the normal. So when I went in for my December scan, they found out that my lining had not completely shed. So essentially, I didn't fully have a period, even though I bled like I did. That's the kind of downfall to taking a medication that encourages you to start your period, is it's not your body doing it, it's on its own, it's medication. So I had always kind of had that in question, like, well, if I'm taking medication to start my period, am I actually doing, like, is my body fully doing everything it should when it's having a period? So December, we skipped. We were just going to start the first of the year with a bang. Got to January cycle, I had a cyst. They don't do ovulation medications when you have a cyst because they don't want you to grow them. And then February cycle, my lining didn't shed. And then we got into March, which is kind of when the COVID-19 thing started. So by the time that it was time for me to have my cycle, they weren't taking patients, although they still did prescribe me Provera, so that helped. And let's see here. I'm trying to think. I've lost all of my days. Long story short, I am on my period right now. I am cycle day 3. And last cycle, I also started on my own. It was kind of weird. I spotted for like almost my entire cycle, and then I finally started my period, and it felt normal. And I tried to do ovulation tests, never seemed to ovulate. And then I just started my period this time. So, of course, I started on a Saturday, and doctor's offices are closed on Saturdays. So my normal day 3 scan would fall on a Monday. And anyways, I just hope they can get me in for day 5 so I can do Clomid 5 through 9. So, crossing my fingers, all goes well. I am very excited that I started on my own. I think my body just needed some time to restart. Honestly, so that was a huge thing about it, and unfortunately it didn't restart enough to help me ovulate, but baby steps, right? I'll take every victory that I can. But I will admit, I have had some really hard days. When you're struggling with infertility, every day counts, and every cycle counts, and every medicated day counts. And when you're not getting any of that, and you're just kind of left on your own to figure it out when you know there's nothing to figure out because your body doesn't do what it's supposed to do, it's just a waiting game. I would just sit there and know that I wasn't going to ovulate, and know that my cycle was going to be stupid, and know that I couldn't take medication to help me ovulate, and I've had some very frustrating, hard days. I almost picked up the camera the other day when I was just super emotional. It was when I was about to start my period, and I wasn't expecting it because I never have. I don't know, I almost just picked it up just to record my thoughts. And it was a day that I'm always frustrated with infertility, but it wasn't necessarily about infertility. It was just simply about me wanting a baby. And I know that goes hand in hand, but do you guys know what I mean? Like, there's days that I focus so much on being pissed that I'm struggling with infertility, but then there's days that, like, I don't even think about it. I don't even think about the reason why I don't have a baby. I just think about how much I want a baby, and if I'm doing something at that moment, I would be thinking about how much better and much happier I would be if I had a son or a daughter there. And I was just emotional, and that sucked. Because I hate that feeling, It's like, my husband and I have such a great life and such a good relationship, and I enjoy every minute with him, and I enjoy everything that we do. And, like, for example, we've been adding on to our deck in the back, and I just, like, imagine, like, a little, I don't know, not even an infant, just like a 3-year-old running around while we're doing work on the deck and, like, playing with our dog. And I don't know, I just envision what life would be like with a baby or with a son or daughter, and it's just what I want. And I don't have it, which totally sucks. But here we are, a new cycle. I am so hoping that they can get me in. Everything with baseline ultrasound, follicle scans are last minute because they have to be done on a certain day. So I'm hoping that they can get me in. I can go in on day 5 because this is a big month if so. I'm going to be doing the highest doses of Clomid, 200 milligrams, which is my first time doing 200. I will hopefully be able to use my trigger shot that I've had since like November, and I have been so excited to use that. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So hopeful, which is all you can be, and if there is one piece of advice I can give you is to just find hope in every situation. Find the silver lining, because if you don't, then it becomes miserable. And I will tell you, there is a silver lining to every situation. It might be small, but it's there. So find it and hold on to it and just feel happy about it, because what else can you do? You know? I hope that updates you guys. I really look forward to this cycle. I'll be making hopefully a bunch more videos and kind of tracking everything, especially if I get to do my Clomid and my trigger shot. Super excited about that. But please connect with me. I love talking to you guys. I love hearing about your stories. I love answering questions and sharing experiences. So follow me on Instagram. My name is, I think, at MackenzieJJ. Yeah, and that's me. So I will talk to you hopefully next week. And if anything changes, I will let you know. Thanks. Bye.